this is the MT125. This is the MT225S and the MT242. Now,
it just has a nice mean look to it. You know, that thing's just staring you down when it's coming at you. 0% for 120 months. It's a little bit unheard of in the industry, but it is something we're being very aggressive on here in the spring.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Mike and you're watching Triple T Acres, and it is tractor buying season. Now I'm here at my local dealer here in Lancaster, Ohio, and I'm gonna show you 3 tractors today. It should be one for about each group of the normal average homeowner that might have a little lot or have some property that they want to take care of. Another thing I'm gonna be talking about is some of the awesome financing that they have right now on these LS tractors. And I'm gonna have the sales rep with me, and we're gonna go over each tractor that I choose here and go over kind of the main specs and see what they have to offer. So stick around, guys. I hope you enjoy the video. All right, guys, I'm here with Taylor, and he's the sales rep here at Foltz Ag. So if you're gonna be coming to Lancaster to check out these tractors, Taylor's gonna be the guy you're gonna wanna talk to. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna walk around this tractor with him, and he's gonna go over this tractor as if you're standing here. And I'm gonna try to ask some questions that you might have, and then he's gonna fill in some of the gaps of some of the things that people ask him quite often.
One of the key features we want to talk about, and we're going to talk about with all these models sitting here today, is our great financing. 0% for 120 months. It's a little bit unheard of in the industry, but it is something we're being very aggressive on here in the spring. As Mike said, it's tractor buying season, so weather's getting nice out. We want to talk about that 0% for 120. First things first, on this 125, we're going to come standard with skid steer quick attach. You want to pop your bucket off, you got 2 levers. Buckets coming off, you can put on a set of pallet forks. We go with like a 42-inch set on something like this. Multiple other uses there. Obviously, the loader is one of the key features of this rig. You know, you want to go out and put mulch in a garden, throw some river rock around some AC units, you know, do some landscaping. Loader lift capacity on this is going to be about 900 pounds at the lift pin right here. What's that equate to in the real world once you get out past the bucket? You know, probably in that high 600, 700 pound range. Enough to do a lot of jobs on a small property owner's place. Now, we do have this one spec with the hybrid tires. This is my favorite tire combination we offer. I mean, just absolute hands down favorite tire combination. You can see it's got a real flat profile to it, but it does have some siping. So it's gonna clean out real nice. I've sold a couple of these to guys that are doing snow removal, getting into some muddy areas. You know, as long as you lock the 4-wheel drive in, these tires are gonna stay clean, even those adverse conditions, but it's not gonna tear up the lawn. So if you are going in and doing landscaping, you know, around the house or for a customer of yours, these ones are not gonna tear up the lawn like a lot of other tires would. I wanna talk about the easy access on the hood. Pop it up here, you can get to your air cleaner real easy, get to the cooling system. It is protected being at the back a little bit. That is a Yanmar underneath of there, 25 horsepower. No emissions on this one, just a muffler. So I know a lot of you people ask me about DEF or DOCs, SCRs. This one does not have that. It's just a straight muffler. You put diesel fuel in it and it starts up and you run it. One of the things we talk about here in the industry a lot is the platform. So on this one, completely flat platform all the way across. If you have someone that's, you know, mobily challenged, maybe you're getting up there in age a little bit, maybe you just don't like jumping over the tunnel on a tractor, you know, this one's a completely flat profile. So if you can get yourself up onto the seat, you can drag your feet across and you have nothing to worry about, nothing to trip on. It does have a parking brake. We've got differential lock here, so that would be a good use for if you do get into some adverse conditions. You want to kick this in before you get to those adverse conditions. You want it to be locked in and then go into the mud, and it's going to really power you through. What that does is it locks your rear axle so that they're spinning at the exact same time and they're not going to spin out. If you do have a mid-mount mower, we adjust it right here. And we do have a PTO for that. So if you want to run your mid-mount mower, you would have your PTO in mid. Deluxe seat here. You do have a 12-volt plug-in in case you need to charge the phone while you're on the tractor. Being a true tractor here, we do have a set of 3-point arms. And we have a rear PTO. You can run a small chipper. You can run small augers. There's a lot of applications for this. Coming around to the right side here, 3-point control. Gonna control both your deck height if you do have a mower, mid-mount mower on, or your 3-point arms at the rear. You've got a 2-speed hydrostat control. Simply shift that from low to high, depending on what your job is requiring. You know, if you're traveling back and forth down the driveway, doing some loader work, I could see yourself getting into high as long as you don't have your bucket real high, right? Anytime you're trying to do some hard pulling, like driveway maintenance, things like that, of course, you're gonna be in that low setting. providing you with the most torque for this tractor. It does have 4-wheel drive, as do all of our LS models. Easily engage and disengage. You do have PTO control here and a speed control. So actually, as you set your hydrostat, you can push this button and it'll move along at the same speed. If you do put a mid-mount mower on this or a rear rotary cutter, you will be able to control your speed and set it and let it go. So you don't have to have pressure on this pedal the whole time, you know,
Nice.
Especially someone with a foot injury, anything like that, any type of mobility concerns, that's definitely something that comes in handy. You do have your throttle control here and your loader control. Now, all of our loaders do have a float function. When you're doing driveway maintenance, you can actually put this in float and then use the leading edge of your bucket in order to back drag your driveway. Quick disconnect on the loader. So as you can see right here, you just simply pop these up and this whole loader can come off of here. You take out your pins up here, disconnect your hydraulics and put your kickstands down, and we can actually have this tractor without the loader on it. Last thing I want to talk about on this tractor is on the loader. We get asked this all the time. What is that little rod? We're going to show you from the seat exactly where the leading edge of this bucket is. So as you can see right now, it's barely above. If we let this bucket down, this would actually be level with this indicator right here. When you're scooping your gravel, doing driveway maintenance, you want to scoop up some mulch, you want to scoop up river rock, you're going to come into that pile with your leading edge flush and then be able to curl it back. So that's exactly what that's for. We can get this tractor for 160 bucks a month, 0% financing for 120 months.
All right, that was the MT125. I didn't have any questions because Taylor did such a good job going over that tractor. Now we're going to move over to this tractor, and I'm going to talk about what type of property owner might be wanting to be looking at this type of tractor. All right, Taylor, this is the MT225S. What type of property owner should be looking at this tractor?
This tractor here is going to be great for someone, I would say under 5 acres, right? Around 2 to 5, this would make a really nice fit. We're going to have a lot of the same features with a couple more bonus features to it. We're going to have skid steer quick attach just the same. We have a level indicator just the same, just a little bit different. Your level is going to be at the top lap parabola on this particular device. Cooling package is going to be up front on this one because it's not such a compact design. A little bit easier to get to in terms of cleaning it out. We did spec this one still with the hybrid tire. I really see the majority of our tractors going out of here in the coming years with that tire combination on it. We have the added feature on this one of being able to unlock your brakes. So you can do a quick turnaround if need be. Just one key feature there. You do get a tilt steering wheel on this one. Obviously that's a nice feature if you're a taller person or if you're even a shorter person. It's easier to get off of if you're taller, or if you're a shorter person, brings it back closer to you. Probably the biggest upgrade on this particular model, we've now got a 3-speed hydrostat. So low's too low, high's too high, you've got medium, right? That's going to be the one that you're going to be mowing in the most often, doing the most loader work in. Lift capacity on that loader, by the way, is going to be specs out of 1,000. I'm going to say real world application about 850, maybe a little more, depending on what particular attachment you have on the front. You are going to get a suspended seat on this one. It is a scissor suspension. It does take a few bumps out of the ride. You're still getting differential lock. You still have the rear 3-point control there in terms of being able to adjust the rate at which they drop. I am going to talk about this for just a quick second. We do have a post hole digger here. Obviously, I'm just showing off an application that is possible with this particular unit. You know, we do spec this with a 36-inch long auger. Any type of fencing, this thing is going to make your life a lot easier. Now, one thing that sets it apart again from the 125 is we're going to have a true set 3-point here. So what does that mean? We've got a rock shaft sensor. As this thing wears over time, you got this tractor for 15 years, this thing doesn't care. It's going to set at the exact same position every time. Where you put it is where it stays. One thing I do want to talk about too, it would be on the rest of the models from here, but this little adjusting screw, if you're using a land leveler or a box blade and you're out doing driveway maintenance, you set that one right to where you want it, and then you drop it down to that same position each time. There actually is one for the upper limit as well. People ask oftentimes, well, what would you ever use it for the upper limit for? I sold a winch box to a customer of mine, and his was a cabbed model, but we noticed if you lifted it all the way up, there's the potential he could have gotten into contact with his cab. So we set the upper limit for him right there. It's a feature he was really happy he had. You still have your loader control here. We can put third function on any of these. So if you want to have third function to be able to run a grapple out there on the front of your loader, get all the tree limbs out of the yard, carry fence posts if you do have the postal digger on the back, that would be an option for you. Still have float on the loader like we talked before. Throttle control, you do have a speed adjust right here where you can lock it in to wherever you want it. You do have a seat adjusting there. Still quick attach loader and a kickstand, a couple pins, and this whole loader would pop right off of there. So you can go without, especially if you're doing something where you're in a compact environment. You know, maybe you're scraping out with your rear blade a small stall for a horse or something like that, right? If you can't get in there with a bucket for whatever reason, you could do that as well.
Real quick, I don't think I heard you say it in this one. This is a 25 horsepower. Does this have emissions?
This one does not have emissions as well. This one is going to be strictly a muffler. Same story. You're not going to have any DEF. You literally put diesel fuel in this, start it up and go.
Not having those emissions means that tractor is not going to have to do a regen cycle every so many hours. Once that soot builds up in the DPF filter that some of these bigger tractors that are above 25 horsepower, once they get to a certain point, they'd run this regen process, and a lot of people don't like them. I personally have it on my tractor, and it doesn't really bother me. I believe the next tractor we're going to be going over here in a second does have that DPF filter, and we'll be talking about that here in just a second.
So this one here is going to be $195 a month financed, which would be the 0% for $120. Like I said, a smoking deal at $195 a month. You can take this one home and put it to work.
All right, that was the MT225S. That was a great overview, a great walk around of that. Now let's go over the MT242H. Taylor, who is going to buy this type of tractor?
This one here is going to be for your guy that wants a premium tractor. What does that mean? Well, number one, it's going to mean creature comforts. We talk about the economical versions a lot, and we sell a lot of them, but there are some people that want to have a few more creature comforts. This one's going to offer that for them. Obviously, a lot of these have the same features on them. Still skid steer quick attach, right? Can't stress enough how nice that is. If you're around or over the age of 40 and you have witnessed a pin-on style bucket, you know how frustrating that can be. We get calls all the time. Can you guys get me an adapter plate to make my tractor skid steer quick attach? You buy one of these, you don't have to. So skid steer quick attach on the loader. This is the new design. We're gonna have black accent pieces on this thing. I think it really adds to the aesthetics of this tractor. You know, new front end, new redesign. I mean, really, if you just look at that thing from the front, it just has a nice mean look to it. Still gonna have your level indicator over there. Again, still slightly different. It's gonna be at the most level point at the bend in the rod there. We're going ahead and spec this one with the R4s, the quote industrial tires. Moving on from the tires a little bit, I wanna say though, this tractor is still available with the hybrids. You can also get it in R1 or an ag tire. Premium MT242H. 42 horsepower on this one. It is a hydrostat control still. Now, with that being said, we can get this in an economy model, okay? So we can get the 242E and we can get the 242HE. It's gonna have some of these premium features stripped out, some less creature comforts, but you're still gonna get a 42 horsepower tractor for 0% for 120. We do have the ability to unlock each side of the brakes here. You do have differential control and four-wheel drive both. This one here is gonna have a tilt steering wheel, same as the last one. Definitely one of the nicer features. You are going to have a mechanically suspended seat here, so you would adjust this based upon your weight. It does adjust forward and reverse. We have the 3-speed hydrostat again still on this particular model, so low, medium, and high. Got your fuel fill back here, pretty convenient spot really. You got to think about how these guys are fueling these. Mike, how do you fuel your tractor?
My fuel tank is actually down here below, and I've always been worried about it there. I haven't had an issue with it yet, but I'm always worried about sticks getting jammed up in there.
Depending on where the location of it is, in this particular location, I can see myself putting a jug right here, right? Then you're gonna shoulder that jug and put it up on if you don't have a bulk fill system of your own. I didn't talk about it on the other two, but on all of these, you're gonna have actual working blinkers, okay? You've got rear tail lights. So again, if you do need to take this thing out on the road for a brief moment, you've got that capability to actually have lights. You have working headlights, so this unit can be used at night. I know a lot of you guys, myself included, right? I'm working a full-time job. When I get home, I've got soccer practice, I got archery practice, I've got every other practice, right? So a few of my jobs are gonna be done, unfortunately, in the dead of night. But this tractor is gonna be equipped with lights as well as the rest of these here, so that you can use these things at night. We have standard on this one, hydraulics. One hydraulic here, with quick disconnects. Some applications you could use that for. You can put a down pressure kit on your postal digger. You can do, I think, Mike, I noticed on your tractor you're running a hydraulic top link now.
Yeah. I'd say that's the #1 thing you probably want to put on.
I would say you're right. Going with the hydraulic top link, that's really gonna add to the variability that you have when you're hooking up your implements, and makes it pretty easy to hook up those implements, right? We sell those too at a very reasonable price. You do have the rear 3-point control, and is there a better feature back here? I mean, the only thing I can think of would be the extendable 3-point arms, but they tie in really well together. This one here does have the capability you can lower and raise your 3-point controls from back here. And then they got telescoping 3-point arms. So if you aren't familiar with these, what that does is if you're off by just a little bit, maybe that left side's perfect, but this right side's off by 2 inches. Well, now you've got this whole range here where you can get that hooked up. When you've got it hooked in, you just simply back up a little bit and it locks right in. They actually made these really simple on the new design.
I've not seen this yet.
Yeah, so you take that out and boom, I got free range of motion right there, and I can freely adjust my 3-point arms.
What that does is allows you to swing your 3-point arms in and out of your implement. So if you got a pin that's sticking out this way, this allows you to swing it in. And sometimes maybe an older implement is a little wider or more narrow than some of the newer ones. That allows you to move it in and out that way.
Adding key features like the quick adjustability of those 3-point arms, I think really goes a long ways from a manufacturer standpoint and from our dealer standpoint of making it easier on that end user to keep those 3-point arms where they're supposed to be, tightened up and away from the moving parts. We do have something here that's a little bit unique. It's available only on this premium model. That's a stop button here. What would you ever use that for? Mike, I know you was just talking to me about using a wood chipper, okay? So had this sitting back here, you feed a branch in and all of a sudden something goes haywire, right? You've got a bigger chunk in there than you thought you did and you want to go ahead and just kill that implement right away. Boom, right? If we're using this tractor for a 3-point application, we're back here standing by it, hit this, you're killing the tractor. So awesome. It's a nice safety feature available on the premium model. We do have the hydraulic spring center here for your one rear remote, and it is a spring center. When I use this forward, it automatically springs back to center. If you are using that to adjust the cylinder at the back, put downforce on an auger, you go to put it forward, you might forget about it, right? And then you're running constant flow through it. We don't need that. So you adjust it to where you need, it spring centers back to where it is. There is an option if you was to ever put it back on, we could put a detent valve on there. Talk to one of us about it, we can get you set up. You do have a rock shaft sensor on this tractor as well. Still got the adjusting screws where you can set your upper and lower limit. If you want to zoom in right here, Mike, on this little button right here, it is one of its key features. I know it's going to be upside down, but I will tell you what that says, and it is called the linked pedal. It's an exciting option. #1 thing that I would say I would use it for, using that for loader work. So I was watching one of your videos and you were doing just lots of loader work, right? Going into this pile, dumping over here. That feature there will drastically increase your productivity. And the way it's going to do that is you would simply set your lower limit for your hydraulics. And that is so that you have full hydraulic capacity with your loader. You actually need to be just above idle, about 1,000, 1,200 RPM, so that you have your maximum hydraulic capacity, your maximum pressure, so your loader will work at its peak performance. If you turn on linked pedal and you are moving from one area to another, it is actually going to increase the speed of the engine, the RPMs of the engine, based upon your input to this hydro pedal right here. So the more you push this pedal down, the faster the entire thing is going to go, the more it's going to rev up the engine. You let off the pedal, it's going to go back to that lower limit that you set with your hand throttle. It's where you don't have to be messing with your hands up here a little bit more. You can keep 2 hands on the wheel or 1 hand on the loader and 1 hand on the wheel when you're doing jobs. You don't have to go back and forth. This is a very special loader control knob here. We've got 2 things on it. This is actually your engine RPM control. So this is actually your throttle control right here. It's going to come on your loader. That's a standard feature. It allows you to keep your hand right where it needs to be for productivity. You want it more throttle, you give it a bump more throttle. You want to go lower, you can lower the throttle. On the front of this, you see these 2 buttons here. These 2 buttons right here, in combination with these 2 lines down here, we're going to have factory third function. The only thing we have to do is run our lines from the valve there up to the front in order to give you hookups. Gonna have factory third function. I can't explain how much of a convenience that is. Most of our tractors that go out of here are gonna be spec'd with a third function, so you can put a grapple on the front. I know Mike told me about numerous applications you've used
Oh,
your front third function for. So it's really going to increase the amount of work that you can do with this thing, especially you guys that have that 5-acre plot, you know, maybe even up to 10 acres, and you've got some wooded area. I know you've got leaves and trees and limbs that are blowing down in your yard. That thing will take care of it. It'll make light work out of it. I'm going to pop the hood on this thing just real quick, and we're going to talk a little bit, because you briefly touched on it before, Mike. Since this one is a 42 horsepower, it is going to have a DPF, which is going to sit right here. Now, with that being said, we do have a 5-year warranty on that. So you've got 5 years, you know, it goes a long ways. It really, really does. Number one thing is, Mike, again, briefly spoke on it earlier. I tell everyone, drive these tractors, right? Run them. Don't idle them around. Put them at a half throttle when you're using it, or, you know, a third, quarter throttle, and drive it. Get it good and hot. That's what that thing needs. It needs to have heat in order to work correctly. Although I know a few of you might be impartial to it, facts are facts. This is the world we live in, right? So we are going to have an exhaust on this one that is a little bit more than just a muffler. I always tell people, you know, either keep it up above above idle, or just shut it off. Our oils today are so refined. They have great lubricity. It is not going to hurt to let this engine in a warm environment, shutting it off and then starting it back up 15 minutes later. It's just not going to hurt anything. Nice hood pop there. Like I said, we've got new aesthetics on this one. Now this one here, we've got 0% for 120 on this, $285 a month, and you can take it home, loader and tractor, 42 horsepower. It is the premium MT242H.
All right, guys, that's 3 tractors with awesome financing. Taylor did such a great job. Thank you so much, Taylor. I appreciate you running over these tractors. I think this is going to give you guys a lot of information and save you a lot of time, because now you're going to know the complete walk around of these tractors. And if you're ready to buy, you can come in here. If you're in Ohio, meet up with Taylor. He will take care of you. I bought my tractor here. They are not paying me to say any of this stuff. LS pays me nothing to say it. I'm just a happy customer. I've been with them for such a long time. I buy lots of tractor implements from them too. And if you're interested in that stuff too, you can come buy your tractor. You can even take an implement home with you, and they have plenty to choose from. But guys, that's gonna wrap up the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. But until next time, we'll see you in the next video.